Welcome into the Cowboys Report presented today by Manscaped. We'll tell you all about their incredible men's grooming products, including the Ultra Premium Package later on in today's show. As we're still talking about the NFL Draft for the Cowboys, and Manscaped has been essential from that standpoint. We're running through our 2022 undrafted free agency tracker for the Dallas Cowboys. All the signings that the organization reportedly has made. I will make note that sometimes things fall apart or whatever, but these are the ones that have been reported so far. First, we'll go one time through all the signings. Then we'll go more in depth on at least some of the guys who I am familiar with. The kicker. That's right, we're going to start with the kicker because they didn't draft one. They signed one, and I like that quite a bit. The kicker added at Texas Tech, Jonathan Garibay. I believe I'm pronouncing that one correct. Markquese Bell, who was one of my highest-rated players not drafted. Cowboys got him plus two other safeties. It's pronounced, I believe, Juanyeh Thomas out of Georgia Tech. LaKendrick Van Zant, the other safety, I guess, out of TCU. Elite name alert, Big Cat Bryant, also coming aboard. The Auburn to UCF transfer added by the Dallas Cowboys. One of two edges, at least the way I'm gonna list them as edge here, out of Utah. It's pronounced Mika Tafua out of Utah, who's a bit of an edge tweener a little bit there. Aaron Hansford out of Texas A&M. Story Jackson, the linebacker from Liberty. Four receivers who will all fight for maybe the last roster spot. Dontario Drummond out of Ole Miss. Jaquari Roberson out of Wake Forest. Receiver Dennis Houston out of Western Illinois. Ty Fryfogle, the receiver from Indiana, who gets to play with his teammate Peyton Hendershot, the tight end out of Indiana. Two centers also brought in. Alec Lindstrom, who I think some of you guys have heard of before. James Empey, the center out of BYU. I believe it's pronounced Amon Simon. I don't have the pronunciation because I don't have any Texas A&M Commerce film, so we won't spend that much time on him. Malik Davis, the running back from Florida, a name that we did talk about leading up to the draft as a possible option. Aaron Shampklin, the running back from Harvard, and then Isaac Taylor-Stuart, the cornerback from USC. We're going to go more in depth on all of these guys. And if you have a good feel, I want you to grade the UDFA class right now. You can always come back and do it at the end of the show, too, because this question is going to be the pinned comments on today's video. So if the ad break plays here while you're watching on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down to that pinned comment and grade the Cowboys undrafted free agency class for 2022. It's an A. First off, it's undrafted free agency. You literally can't do anything wrong. The worst you could ever give it, as far as I'm concerned, is a C. But I am a big fan of what the Dallas Cowboys did. It is a deeper UDFA class across the NFL this year, thanks to the COVID year that allowed players to go back. Now they're all coming out when they could have come out last year. Deeper depth. I love what the Cowboys did. So let's go player by player. First up, the kicker, Jonathan Garibay out of Texas Tech, who I am kind of excited about. So I did more work on kickers than I've ever done in my entire life. And in the end, I'm going to trust what guys like Dane Brugler, Lance Zierlein say, because my research for kickers, like, what was their long, how accurate were they, blah, blah, blah. Garibay was really good for Texas Tech this year. Missed one extra point, 15 of 16 on field goals, a long of 62, 23 of 27 in his career. He's got a big leg, limited experience. This is why you don't draft kickers, because I think this guy could be really good for you out of Texas Tech. All right, next up is Markquese Bell, who, fun fact, is one of my highest remaining players who did not get drafted. If they had taken Markquese Bell in the 5th or 6th round, I'd have been pretty happy with it. He was number 189 overall on my board. I love this pickup here. Great speed, 4.41, 40-yard dash, mainly a box safety for A&M. He's north-south at his best coming downhill. He's probably going to be more of a special teamer to start with upside on that standpoint. Not that many special teams reps. Never played a game at Maryland, got suspended, transferred to Florida A&M. Good run stopper. I do all my draft stuff in advance, right? Ready for my player comp? Cowboys legend Roy Williams on that one. So Markquese Bell is by far my favorite UDF signing here for the Dallas Cowboys. All right, two other safeties they added. Juanyeh Thomas out of Georgia Tech. Again, special teams value here kind of profiles a similar mold as Markquese Bell. Good testing for a strong safety, 4.55, 40-yard dash. I did not like him in coverage very much. You could bulk him up and turn him into a linebacker like you kind of did with Keanu Neal. Mark Barron is the athletic comp, not the level of play comp on that standpoint there. But Juanyeh Thomas out of Georgia Tech, 2 good pickups at safety. You guys know how I feel about that safety spot. Local kid, LaKendrick Van Zant, who I'm sure many of you have a good feel for, especially if you are a TCU fan. I know Harrison, Graham here at Chat Sports, likes that pickup quite a bit. Local kid, 5'11", 210, so again, some similar bulkier builds at that safety spot. The NFL draft coverage here on the Cowboys Report is made possible thanks to our friends at Manscaped, and we greatly appreciate Manscaped coming along for the ride. You can get 20% off and free shipping on all of their incredible men's grooming products, including the Ultra Premium Collection, when you go to manscaped.com/chat and you use promo code chat. And that's not just for the Ultra Premium Collection. It's also included for the most comfortable boxers known to man. If you get the Performance Package, the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, there is a wide array of products available. Go get yours today at manscaped.com/chat. Moving along now with a Key and Peele name, Big Cat Bryant, the Auburn to UCF transfer, who is maybe not quite as big as his name might suggest he lives up to, but he is a Auburn transfer, went to UCF, decent production here, certainly a name to keep an eye out for as maybe a practice squad guy, or even beating out maybe someone like Terrell Basham at the edge rusher spot. All right, Mika Tafua out of Utah. Tafua, non-combine invite. He is going to be 26-year-old as a rookie. That's why I gave him a UDFA grade. But he did win the Morris Trophy. That is the top defensive lineman in the Pac-12, voted on by other offensive linemen in the conference there. Good production this year. 13 TFLs, 9.5 sacks. He did the LDS mission, so he had a very late breakout, very late career in terms of impact at Utah. Did play through a sports hernia. He had to get surgery to end the year. Didn't test that great for a defensive end. I wonder if you try to bulk him up and make him into a sub-package rusher on the interior. Who is your favorite undrafted free agent signing? I want to hear from you guys right now in the comment section. Let me know who your top UDFA pickup was. Maybe it's this guy, Texas A&M's Aaron Hansford, who had 89 tackles. Now, again, this is an older football player. It does tend to happen. 6th round grade for me, by the way. He was one of my top linebackers, left 220 overall. He was a wide receiver to linebacker comfort. He played both in high school, of course, there. A developmental guy, that's why he was a little bit lower. Good range. I think the instincts, the feel for playing linebacker are not quite there all the way, but the blitz ability, the range, absolutely a great UDFA pickup here for the Dallas Cowboys. The other one is, other linebacker, I should say, Story Jackson. You can tell with the 7 sacks, 102 tackles for loss. A little bit of a tweener at 6'2", 224. He ain't quite big enough to be a pure edge rusher, and he's a bit of a better blitzer as a linebacker. But you signing guys who had 102 tackles, and 7 sacks as a UDFA, normally means that's pretty darn good. If you are a Cowboys fan, then I want you guys to subscribe. We are less than 500 subscribers away from hitting the 128,000 mark. Let's get there as soon as possible so we can double up the Commanders' actual YouTube channel. I want to body that poverty franchise. Subscribe right now. Even though the offseason is winding down, we're going to have videos every single day. Don't miss out. Subscribe right now. Into the receivers. First up is Dontario Drummond out of Ole Miss, who was the #1 target for Matt Corral. I have him listed as discount Jawan Jennings, slot receiver at Ole Miss. Good after the catch. 16 forced missed tackles, 9.2 yards per catch. Did do a little bit of punt return stuff, only 9, so I wouldn't worry too much about that side there. I had a 7th round grade on him, so I did think he was a draftable prospect of the ones that I got to this past year. So maybe he makes the roster. Maybe he's more of a practice squad guy, but either way, there's some value here that you found as a UDFA. Next up is Roberson, out of Wake Forest. I don't see any special teams background here, but he had a big-time breakout year, 2 straight years of being the team's leading receiver, 1,000 yards on this standpoint here for Roberson. Bit of a local kid here from San Antonio, Dennis Houston, out of Western Illinois. He is the 4th pickup and smaller school guy who I did not get to, but we don't even have the stats for him. Keep an eye. Maybe he surprises in camp and whatnot. Ty Fryfogle might be one of the more recognizable names because he went against Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State in 2020. 25 catches, 6 touchdowns, 560 yards in a 3-game span. He looked like a potential early round pick, and then this year, he didn't even match that production. That 3-game stretch was better than this year. 46 grabs, 512 yards, 1 touchdown. He dropped a ton of passes. Didn't win in contested catches. Is not a special teamer. 7th round grade. I don't know what happened this year. Maybe it was the crappy quarterback play. He went from the first player in Big Ten history with back-to-back 200 receiving yard games to a UDFA, but he's absolutely worth bringing in and seeing if you can develop him into a little bit more and get the guy you had, or saw, I should say, in 2020. His teammate Peyton Hendershot is also joining the Dallas Cowboys. Solid production at Indiana for a tight end. 543 yards, 4 touchdowns, classic tight end build at 6'4", 250. You saw a few years ago Sean McEwen make the Cowboys active roster as a UDFA tight end. Perhaps you see something similar here with Peyton Hendershot on that standpoint. It'll be interesting to see how many guys actually end up making the roster. I think it's going to be more than typical years because it is such a deep grouping. So I want a prediction from you guys. How many Cowboy UDFAs make the final roster? Is it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? Got a lot of options there. There's 19 players they signed. Get it in the comments section. Make your prediction. Center time, Alec Lindstrom, who is the younger brother of Falcons offensive guard Chris Lindstrom. Now, he identifies the fronts, makes the calls for Boston College. Tough player. I had an early 7th round grade on him. He is a center only, good athletic testing, but you can tell by the size he's 296, tiny hands. He doesn't have great power. The traits were pretty middling. 14 penalties the past 3 years, 3 at holding as a senior. I didn't think he was that quick on film. I had a 7th round grade, so I'm not shocked. He ended up going undrafted. He was at the center position for me, number 248 overall. He was the last of all the centers I got to, which was barely in the draftable range there. So I'm not that shocked he went as a UDFA. But last name, football background, maybe he can surprise you and compete with Matt Farniok, who's going to compete with Tyler Biadasz to be the team's starting center. BYU's James MP, who, again, similar build here, right? Undersized player, 6'3.5", 297 pounds out of BYU. Is the mustache good? I think it works on his face there. So MP and Lindstrom will be fighting to either be the practice squad center or maybe beat out Matt Farniok for the backup role. Eamon Simon out of Texas A&M Commerce, 6'5", 3/8 inches, 303 pounds. Going to need some time to get up to speed with an actual NFL weight room program, so he will be a potential practice squad guy, I believe, in year 1 and maybe even 2 and 3 for the Cowboys. Still got some more guys to get to here, but I want you to predict the Dallas Cowboys record in 2022. Make those predictions for me in the comments section right now. All right, running back Malik Davis, who is 5'10"-ish, 202 pounds. I had an undrafted free agency grade here. He had a 4.71 40-yard dash. Speed was not very good. Didn't have much production for Florida. His career was just 1,470 yards. He didn't top 500 at this point. Never topped 100 carries in a singular season from that standpoint. So the Cowboys brought him in for a pre-draft visit. I'm not surprised they added him. I kind of saw just a guy on film, but that's okay because you're a UDFA, and sometimes those guys shock everybody. Aaron Shampklin, the running back out of Harvard, who I'm just going to assume is a very smart person. Not that dissimilar build from Malik Davis. Maybe one of those guys can become your new Jaquan Hardy. Finally, Isaac Taylor-Stuart, the cornerback out of USC, who I also had a draftable grade on. He checked in at number 259 overall, a 7th-round grade for me here. I didn't love the USC team. I think defense kind of an issue there. Height, weight, speed prospect, who is more athlete than a football player right now. I didn't love his film results. 3 touchdowns allowed almost 69% completion rate there. Great testing. Punt coverage background here. The traits are absolutely there. The skills for me are really not. There were some medical red flags that helped him fall as a UDFA as well. But this is a Dan Quinn project, and I am happy to bring on Dan Quinn projects at corner as UDFAs.